Guys, the Wizards are going to be on the top 5 teams that I'm going to be watching this year. And it's not because I'm trying to be hyperbolic. I'm not trying to just say anything crazy. Like, I really mean it. There's the Spurs, there's the Heat because it's my team, there's OKC, there's the Rockets. There's like them big names that I want to watch. But when it comes to what I'm so intrigued and interested in watching, I mean, I can't think of another team that I'm more interested in watching besides the Wizards because I really have no idea how it's going to go. I mean, this team that they just built with Trae Young, Alex Sarr. I want to see how the pick and roll goes, right? Alex Sarr has been pretty good as a big man, putting up good stat lines, playing well. So to add a really good passer and playmaker in Trae Young, I'm really excited to see how that works and what other shots he's going to be getting because he's going to be more efficient, right? Easier looks, more open shots, more lobs. It's going to be a lot easier for him, but not only for him, but like all these players, these young players, Bilal Coulibaly, Johnson. I mean, these guys, they're going to be going crazy with these nice open looks, and it's what you want to get for your young core, right? You want them to feel comfortable on the court. When they're open, you know they're going to get the ball. But what does that really mean for the Wizards as a franchise? Like now you got your main guy. The first time you really know you have a main guy since John Wall in 2016. Because yeah, I know that Alex Shaw was the first overall pick, but there wasn't a lot of, at least maybe it's because I wasn't keeping up with the Wizards, but I wouldn't see so many people talking about Alex Shaw as that guy. He's going to be the main guy of the franchise. He's going to be like, nah, I didn't see that. You know what I mean? And there's a couple like nuances that I'm kind of looking into. Like Alex Sarr didn't want to get picked to the Hawks. He was gonna go first, but they chose Zachary Ricochet because Alex Sarr didn't want to go there. And the same GM who got Trae Young is the same guy who's at the Wizards GM right now. So I think it's kind of funny because now at the end of the day, they're all together on the same team. But it feels weird to a certain extent because the team before had Chris Middleton, CJ McCollum, like these older guys as the vets, and then you have the young core that they're building. So, they're teaching them. But now you move off of CJ McCollum. You still got Chris Middleton as your old guy. And Trae Young, being 27, is now going to start playing with these really, really young players. So I'm interested to see how it goes. I don't think they're going to be a playing team, but I just love the fact that we get to see Trae Young somewhere else because it felt like Trae Young being in the Hawks was just going to be like a dead end every single year. Always a playing team, right? And it's not even like the Heat to where it's like they're just they have Bam, they have Tyler Hero. They're just going to keep trying to push for the play-in. It's like, for real, they keep trying to contend and make a team around Trae Young and it just doesn't work out. Now they moved off of him because they got Jalen Johnson. They got these contracts. They got nice picks. And they want to take advantage of it outside of the Trae Young era, which I actually agree with. But I just love the fact that it's to the Wizards because at first when I saw the news, it's like, bro, the Wizards, like of all teams, the more I thought about it, the more I gave it time. I'm like, wait, like, why am I being so pessimistic? It's probably just because I haven't heard of a single player want to go to the Wizards in a very long time. But it's also the fact that we're looking at a whole new era for the Wizards. Like, whatever they were building towards just got thrown off to the side because now you got a Trae Young, and now it's like, okay, we're not competing this season, but we're going to see how it rolls out. But in 2 seasons' time, we better start seeing some big moves because you already have Trae Young, who's 27, and he's not going to be rebuilding for the next 5 years, which was probably going to be the plan for the Wizards because they didn't have a bright future ahead. Now you got Trae Young, who's got like maybe a 3-year period you want to like really focus on, and you want to rebuild and get good picks, yet still buy in. So by the time Trae Young hits 30, we're looking at a real contending team. Alex Starr will be a little bit older. He'll have more experience. So you want to see this team grow in that aspect, but you hope it works because, man, the East is just wide open, right? Giannis looks like he's going to stay in Milwaukee, but that team isn't really going to do much in the next couple of years. And even with Tyrese Halliburton coming back, I don't know how often I'm going to think of them as the heavy favorites. The only team that I really feel like is always going to be considered the heavy favorites are going to be Boston, especially when JT comes back. But outside of that, I mean, even New York with their big names and their great role players, they still have their issues that they can't seem to figure out. So the Wizards are in this spot where now the spot's on them. They're like, they got the spotlight. They got to make the right moves because you don't want to mess this up. When is any player going to say, hey, I want to play for the Washington Wizards? Never. Even KD barely says it. Like when KD wants to go somewhere, he'll choose any other team and like it'll be like, oh, Wizards will be nice, but that's really about it. Like you want to show love and that's it because their general management, their front office doesn't have the best track record. And when I'm looking over at the Hawks, we've moved on from Trae Young. Now we're Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels, Zachary Wiesachet. Kristaps is probably going to be using a trade later on to try to see like what they can get out of him or see what's going to happen with that. But now they're completely out of the Trae Young era. They're focusing purely on the whatever big name they want to get. I mean, to be honest, you look at the Hawks and you're intrigued because you're looking at them and you're like, all right, this is a good team. They got Jalen Johnson playing great offensively. Dyson Daniels, a top 3 defender in the league. Like, you have some versatile players. I mean, Nickeil Alexander-Walker is hooping too, averaging like 20 if I'm not mistaken. And you still got the former first overall pick. So they have a good foundation and much better than anybody expected, because they were just a couple years ago with Trae Young, they were in the conference finals. Then they had a 3-year period where it's just playing. And it's so boring to deal with that every single year. But now you've moved on from it. And so your floor is lower, but your ceiling is even higher, because you moved off of Trae Young on essentially like a salary dump, because now you got CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert, which I love the Corey Kispert edition. And you're doing these moves to open up cap space to get a bigger name in the market. So what do you go for? Do you go for just more role players and hope Jalen Johnson becomes that guy? Or do you go for a big name that you just pray and hope is interested in what Atlanta has to offer? You want them to be in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and you want them to really be bought into what the Atlanta Hawks are trying to build. Now, how often do you really see a player want to go to Atlanta? You know, it's most likely going to be acquired through a trade or see what's going to happen. But you have to really, this season and probably next season, is going to be really focused on, hey, this is like, we are the Hawks. We're creating this culture that a lot of other teams won't have. Now, is it easy to make that? No, it's going to be difficult. But in the long run, I think this was the best move you could have done. Unfortunately, Trae Young's value was at an all-time low. I mean, you didn't even get a first overall pick. But accepting that it's just the best course scenario is just a lot better than writing it out. A lot of teams across all sports will have a player, like what they see, but because of the contract they gave him, or because of like, you don't want to trade him because it's an outside. Like in this case with Trae Young, he's Trae Young. He's a great NBA player. His value's at an all-time low. A lot of front offices do not want to just be like, hey, it is what it is. They just want to be like, hey, we got to write it out. We don't want to let Trae Young go for nothing. But in this case, I'm not saying CJ McCollum's nothing, but you're accepting it. And the first, like, as long as you can accept what a right move is, even when the odds are stacked against you, this can work out in your favor. And these are the types of moves you need to make if you want to be a championship team. You can't just play it safe if you're trying to win a championship. You have to go for those high risk, high reward plays. And this is going to be one of them. I mean, if the Hawks wouldn't have moved off to Trae Young, I believe wholeheartedly that every single player they have on here, they would have had to trade away and do a full rebuild. But to move off of him just makes a lot of sense. And it gives Dyson Daniels more room, more space, and just more time to grow. And you get Dyson Daniels to get even more time as well. Zachary Wiesachet is going to get the ball more, so even maybe he ends up being way better than we expected. So this is what you kind of want to see from a team. This is what you want a front office to really understand and be like, hey, we messed up, let's fix it. The same way Dallas is trying to do it. I mean, they wanted to trade Anthony Davis because they realized, hey, we traded Luka. Unfortunately, the past GM messed up, but let's trade because we got Cooper Flag. So let's take advantage and let's trade AD. I understand it's basically just trading Luka for nothing, but if we can just flip AD for assets that are going to build around Cooper Flag, at the end of the day, maybe we're trying to win a championship. If you're trying to win a championship, you got to make these moves. So this is why I like to trade for both sides. I love it. I absolutely love it. I don't understand the backlash. I think it's when you're pinned against the wall like that, and you have players like that, all-time low value, or you're put in this scenario where like you're trying to rebuild for the future, and you get a player like this. I mean, this is what you got to do. You got to roll the dice. And this has been one of my favorite trades I've seen in a while. But hey, I don't know if you guys agree with me. Maybe you guys don't. If you guys don't, just leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think about the whole trade. Who's going to end up being the winner. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.